Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Like no other station in the world. We are like no other station.
Ow.
Wow. Anyway, so for those of you who have never listened to the Ask Brien radio show, and I know there's a few people out there because everybody listens to the Ask Brien radio show. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? You're going to learn a lot about business. You're going to learn about what's coming up in business. We're all about business. And each week we try to bring on a startup person or somebody that has entrepreneurial background or someone who has success or can teach us something about business. And this week is like any other week. There's a little echo. That's interesting. So we're going to be talking to the engineer to find out why the echo is there. Well,
I don't know.
Oh, you need to
I
figure
believe
that out.
that's the phone line.
Well, we'll have to figure that out. I still hear it.
Well, you love listening to your own voice, so.
Why wouldn't I? You know, when you got it, you got it. So, each week people ask us, why is your show called Ask Brien, AskBrien, when your name is Peter? I mean, why are you using Ask Brien? Well, we already went through that a couple of times, and that really has to do with our domain. It was very hard to get a proper domain. So, we do want to know, what does that mean? She's got the sign up. It's like, are you a cheerleader? Rah, rah, rah. Sis, boom, ba. Okay. So, Mr. Patrick.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing,
Did you miss me? I was in South Dakota.
I always miss you.
Well, you know, I went to Mount Rushmore. It was very interesting.
Did you really?
Yes, very, very good. And I also visited a factory.
Huh.
And you see, I'm wearing my Albany Farm shirt.
I do see that.
Yeah. So.
Looking fresh. Looking fresh, Peter.
I'm just wearing a Nike shirt.
Well, and it's very, very bright red.
I know.
I mean, my eyes, I probably need to get my sunglasses on. It's so bright.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, people want to know why Brien is spelled with an E, and you always have the answers for that.
I do.
You don't have answers for anything else, like, you know, what's the best baseball team, or especially what's the best football team, because keep on coming up with Seattle, and everybody
They are
knows that.
not the best football team. As a Seahawk fan,
they're not
they
even
are
the worst football team. They're probably below that.
Okay. Listen, okay. Jet fan, calm down.
Hey. At least we have the right color, green, which is the color of money. Now,
Okay.
why on earth do we spell Brien with an E?
Well,
Give us some answers.
I'll give you some answers. Well, the E's kind of are like the themes of the show, kind of like symbolic of what Ask Brien kind of is. And there's a lot of words that start with E, and one of them would be something that you weren't actually showing me a lot of right now, empathy.
But we've went over that before, right?
Right.
You wear a size 14, I wear a size 8.5, my shoes.
I thought it was a size 6.
Oh! Let me take the knife out of out of my chest. Well, you can't fit in somebody's shoes if you're,
Fair.
I'd be like a clown, I'd be walking around in clown shoes, size 14 when I'm wearing size 8.
Fair enough.
So that's why I don't empathize with you.
Over shoe sizes, all right.
Well, that's what it's all
fair
about,
enough,
right?
Fair enough.
Fitting in somebody else's shoes.
Fair enough. Outside of that, we have one that is always important for the show, and that is engineers, because you can't run the show without the engineers, and that would be myself and Emily, which is also an E.
Well,
Hey-o.
Hi.
Hi, that's it?
That's me.
You can't say something else?
No.
It's live. It's Emily.
That
Like
is
that?
too loud.
Oh my God. Somebody has to learn to talk around here. What are the other reasons for the E? What do the E stand for?
Well, there is also one of the most important ones is actually education, because we want to be we want to educate people on our show.
Do we have like any drums or anything? Nothing of that? Come on. You got to come up with something.
I'll see.
You need to start watching the Howard Stern show, and that way you can find out about these little props and prompts.
I don't watch television.
It's not television; it's radio.
I just listen. Oh, it is?
To be fair, it's radio.
Okay.
That is radio. He's right. Outside.
She's like,
Anyway.
Patrick's like, uh-oh, don't feed the arrogant. All right, so
Anyway.
what are the other reasons for the E?
So other reasons we had education. We have let's see. We have one of your favorites, but I bring the enthusiasm, and you bring the
excitement.
Ow. That's
And don't forget Tracy's favorite,
Oh, that is
Grease
right.
Lightning.
Electrifying.
That's right, because Tracy, our co-host, is not available today. We are substituting in Mandy Burra. Drum roll, please. Mandy, are you there?
I want Carl. I am here.
Good.
That's
good,
pretty good, Emily.
And you're gonna have to learn.
Yeah.
Where are you now? You're where? San Antonio?
I am in San Antonio, Texas.
Well, that GPS now everybody knows where you are, so they're all going to be coming by and asking you questions. Anyway.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Good. How hot is it there?
Really hot. It's about 100 degrees.
Oh, that's very cold actually. I thought Texas is 100 degrees every single day. Wow.
What?
Cold
The
wave.
humidity is amazing.
Well, hey, I grew up in New York. I love humidity. That's my second name. In fact, if I wasn't the Ask Brien show, it'd be the Humidity show. Anyway,
How many names do you have?
I'll have 19 personalities and 25 names. I mean,
All in
doesn't
his
everybody-
head, by the way.
And more when I drink.
Oh my lord.
Well, give me some more reasons.
Anyways,
Because our
ladies and
guest is like
gentlemen.
going, what the hell did I get into?
Okay. Oh my goodness. Outside the easy.
Give me two more.
Oh my goodness. I'm thinking.
How about experience and excellence?
Oh, experience and excellence. That's good. And experts.
Right. You know, I knew if I trained this guy long enough, maybe he'd get him. You're very close this time. Very close. You know, you'll get
Those are good.
8.5 stars out of 10.
Hey, C's get degrees. What can I say?
Well, it's very good. So, without any further ado, and why do I like that word?
Because every single letter minus the D is a vowel. It's
And-
ADIEU.
And what are we? Sesame Street for Business. Okay.
Pretty much.
So, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Course,
I love
course.
having you on the show. We didn't even talk about the fact that we're not O'Brien's Pub, even though you're Irish. So, I left that one out, but I didn't want to leave it out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I really appreciate
Bye,
it.
everybody.
You've really been a charm.
Fair enough. Bye, guys.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Can I get a clap? Come on. Oh my God. We're taking a lot of time here.
Can't find it.
I did it myself. All right.
Help you to-
Like I do everything else, I do it myself. All right. So, George, are you still there?
Yes.
Wow. That actually takes a lot just to be on the show that long. Okay. So,
Well,
George,
I'm not gonna lie. I was doing other stuff.
watching the paint dry is not acceptable. All right. So,
Well, remember, you told me about why the name became about when you first did it. Remember, we've known each other a long time, so I already knew.
oh, that's a very, very long time. You know, back then we were taking the horses and the wagons to work. But
Yeah, remember I met with you at the hotel, went over a whole bunch of SEO advice. It's been a while, man. Been over 6 years.
exactly. And that was for Ask Brien, by the way. So, first question, we want to know, what is your business background? What makes you worthy of being on the Ask Brien show? What is your background?
I'm not worthy. No, honestly, since I was 17, I purchased my first home on an assumable loan, which means you guys probably know, it means no qualification, no income. It was very odd. I was 17. I think it was 1987. Bought that home, flipped it in 3 months, got the taste of money, and never needed the need for college. And since then, I've been working on. I think I was 21. More so the residential end. Took a little lapse there into a business and sold that business. Actually, Peter helped me with the sale. And then I dived in 08 full-time into commercial real estate.
So,
And by the way, Peter did help me retire at the age of 32 when I sold that business and led me to have the cash to be able to work on commercial real estate, which is so much less painful than having a bunch of employees.
well, thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate that. And remember, it was all you. I just did the documentation. So,
I appreciate that too, brother.
no problem. Couple questions we have for you. So, did you get a real estate license?
No, in fact, I never needed a license, never wanted one. I don't want to be a broker, never wanted to be, never wanted all the rules and regulations, and it just they have a bad rep. And what I do is basically is I look at a property. If I like it, and I can tell you which ones to buy, which ones not to buy, and I'll either take it, rent it out, or do some minor repairs and sell the property. I typically hate to keep it and rent because in my whole lifetime, I've never seen properties ever have rent-free tenants. Even 7-Elevens and Vons, they won't pay you. So I've always was better off on filling them up with good tenants and then selling them and walking away, always having cash in hand to do it again.
So I would think that if any area, that commercial real estate's got to be the most difficult for two reasons. One, we've seen during COVID on the office side where many people are working from home, and so people are saying, why do I need to go to the office? I can just do a Zoom call. And secondarily, with the internet and expansion and Amazon, where everybody's delivering everything to home, the brick and mortar is kind of going down. So I had to guess, I would think that'd be a dangerous area to be in. So, but you're in that commercial real estate, and so I'm curious to what you think are the growth factors for that area.
I got to tell you, not even during Corona, they won't really hit as bad as you might think. I mean, what you see on TV, it's just to get you to come back after the commercial break. There's not a lot of people that went out of business, believe it or not. But you're correct. Office took a hit, especially with all that WeWork and, we all share space. In fact, I was going to invest heavily from here to New York in all these co-work shared offices because you get more per square foot. Long story short, we got lucky. We didn't consummate a lot of deals because Corona came up. And now even after Corona, people, like you said, are like, hey, we can do this on Zoom. We can do it at home. So, yes, office is the worst to buy, period. As far as retail is safe, Peter, because retail can always be used for retail and can always be used for professional office use and sometimes for warehouse use. So retail can be used for everything. Retail has always been safe. People are always going to want to go out and eat. People still want to go touch and feel things. So even with Amazon, retail, if in the right area, you'll crush it. In the right area.
Well,
I'll tell you one quick thing. On PCH in Redondo Beach, as Chipotle opens up on a corner unit, Chipotle, you know what their stock is? Chipotle is insane. It went out of business in 4 months. So not everybody is smart enough to predict the area, but they made a stupid mistake because they opened up in an area that did not have other anchors. And that's really the key. If there's a Starbucks, a McDonald's, you should buy there.
Now,
not brain surgery.
Now,
they are smarter than me, and they do a lot more research than me. And if they're there, that's a place to buy.
So what kind of research should somebody do if they're interested? Let's say I'm interested in buying a piece of property on Jefferson and Lincoln. I think you're familiar with that area.
Retail or industrial? Because that's the two to buy.
Two to buy is retail, and the other one is industrial?
Industrial, warehouse industrial, recession-proof. You're always going to need to either store, ship, warehouse. Even you can do a lot of industrial allow you to do retail. They allow you. The city says, you know what? If you can do a little storefront, we're good with that. So industrial is just recession-proof. But retail and industrial are what to buy. And in answer to your question, it really depends what kind of business, what's your intention? To run your own business, open a franchise, or rent it out, or flip it.
And you're specifically only going to purchases, correct? We're not talking about anything else. We're not talking about either rent-to-own deals or leasing property and then subleasing it out, correct?
Not to lease it out, no. I like to do short-term leases, get a nice OM, offer memorandum going, and say, look, the whole place is leased up, and then sell it. Because you're always going to have problems with tenants, always. But I will also add one thing that I never would get into is residential multifamily. The rules, the laws are always against you as a landlord, and it's just completely against you. I mean, without getting into details, I avoid it. They're selling. There's so much on the block now because people have realized we're selling these things. They used to sell at a 1.3 cap in California. Now they're selling at 5, 6, and 7 caps because people are realizing, we're not getting our money. And I mean before Corona.
Okay, so not everybody...
multifamily, I avoid, and office space, I avoid.
Okay.
And as far as retail and industrial, I buy them, fill them up with good tenants, and sell them.
Okay, George.
And
not
then you're
not
always
everyone's
having cash.
Not everyone's.
I mean, think about it. Why would you buy a retail strip center, one that has a triple net investments, has people in it, and you're making 3 to 5% cap, and that's assuming you get your rent on the first of every month with no issues. So you're giving somebody $2 million to get 60, 70 grand in your pocket every year after taxes. Why would you do that? I'd rather sell it for $2 million, take $300,000, have it in the bank, and buy my next one.
So the next question is, what is a cap? Not everyone understands 1.3
The
cap.
capitalized annual. So basically, you take a percentile of what you, to make it easy, of what you paid, and then you will divide that by your NOI, your net operating income. So if you got a property that's selling for $2 million, and they're telling you your net operating income is 200 grand, then that's a 10% cap rate. That's a pretty good rate, but you're never going to see that.
And why is that?
That means you're taking in every year 200 grand on that building. But that doesn't happen because the average cap rate is anywhere from 3 to 5%. That means $2 million, you're lucky if you take in $70,000 to $110,000 a year. So I always ask myself, why would I give you $2 million to make 70 grand?
Because
How
we're
long
friends.
will that take to make my $2 million back? And that's assuming everybody pays on time. Makes no sense. I'd rather take the profit, put that in the bank, buy my next one. Sell that, put the profit in the bank, buy my next one. And then I'm always ready to cash out.
Mandy had a question. Go ahead, Mandy. Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute. What are some of the risks in commercial real estate?
Oh, that's a pretty broad question. What part of commercial?
You're welcome.
I mean, the risk, to buying a new one, buying one as a triple net investment, meaning it's all full of tenants.
I only heard part of that. What did you say again?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying, so for more clarity on the question is, as far as what, to buy it vacant,
Yeah.
to rent it out, or to buy it tenanted with income, which type of commercial investment?
Yeah, to buy it, rent it out. What are the risks in that?
To rent it out, so you want to own it and have tenants in it paying you rent.
Right.
Oh, yeah, the main risk, as I said earlier, is not getting paid.
Okay.
Not getting paid, because remember, as Peter said earlier, with Corona and even before Corona, we always heard Amazon, retail. Yeah, if you have a tenant that's selling clothes, a boutique little clothing store, no. Nail shops are everywhere because Amazon can't do that. But nail shops have a very limited capacity to the type of rent they can pay you. See what I'm saying? So they can't always pay top market rent. Hair people, you can't do it on Amazon, but they don't pay a lot. Cafes go out of business every day. So that's the risk to you buying it with tenants or filling it up with your tenants. The risk is people going out of business or just not paying you.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
But with residential, you have no rights, literally. But with commercial, yeah, you can start the procedure to get them out legally. You can get them out as early as like 3 months, where in residential it could be 9 months to a year to forever. But why do you want to go through that process and then you have to find another tenant? So the other thing is, if you have one super anchor, a name brand, that could pretty much help you stay afloat if the other people don't pay.
We're going to be right back. We got to take a break. Thank you very much for listening to KHTS 1220 98.1 FM.
The shows must go on. The Main in Santa Clarita is your destination for free online music, theater, art, and entertainment opportunities. Tune into fun variety nights, join a talent show, learn from filmmaking experts, attend a modern play, and more from the comfort of your home. For more information and to view upcoming events, go to facebook.com/themainnewhall or at themain.org. Enjoy the shows.
If you have brain fog, headaches, and mood swings, you might have post-concussion syndrome and need to learn the 3 most common mistakes that must change to allow your brain to heal for good. Hi, I'm Dr. Thomas Pilecki, and WebMD chooses me as best chiropractor in functional medicine in Santa Clarita. Something to think about. So, when you're ready to get better, go to drpilecki.com. That's drpolucki.com to schedule your free consultation now.
Coming to the Canyon, Mark Varner's American Band, The Motels, Robbie Krieger, Corey Feldman, The Smithereens, Faster Pussycat, Richie Kotzen, Stephen Piercy of Rat, Bullet Boys, LA Guns, Asia featuring John Payne, Marsha Ball, Young Dubliners, Ambrosia, The Spinners, Eric Gales, and so much more. Country nights every Thursday. The Canyon is the perfect place to host special events. Call 888-645-5006. Book yours today. The Canyon, Santa Clarita, where music meets the soul. Tickets available through access.com.
Helping lead the way to a greener future, all of Burtek's Santa Clarita Valley waste collection trucks run on clean-burning natural gas. Burtek takes pride in their community, and they've been serving the SCV for nearly 2 decades. Because at Burtek, we'll take care of it.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
Dr. Neil Green has been treating Santa Clarita patients and making them smile for over 35 years. As a child, Dr. Green had a fear of the dentist and disliked even simple checkups. Today, he's sensitive to your needs. If you have anxiety about getting a checkup, he understands your apprehension even if you've avoided the dentist for years. Discover the comfort of visiting a dentist with Dr. Neil Green. Dentistry is his profession. People are his focus. NeilGreenDDS.com. That's Neil, N-E-A-L, GreenDDS.com.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
Hometown, your hometown station.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM with our guest, George Calter, and our co-host, Mandy Brewer. So we had a couple questions before we went to break. I didn't. Were you finished with those questions, George, or do you want us to re-ask them?
No, no, I'm pretty much done here. Whatever you guys shoot it at me.
Okay, so you also mentioned to me, beyond commercial real estate, that you also have a focus on franchising. I'm trying to understand, does that mean you look at commercial real estate to buy for franchisees, or is it completely different subject and you're just dealing with franchising system?
They're both pretty much combined. So, for example, as Mandy was also asking to another semi-risky, would be, or to make a franchise less risky. Say I'm looking at a franchise and I really love it. I love their concept. I think they're going to grow. They're doing well. What I always do is I always approach them with, look, before we get into anything, of course, my franchise specialist attorney, Peter, you are going to review the docs. But before that, I always make it clear to them that I'm not going to use their real estate service. I'm going to want to find a commercial property, a retail property for this business that I would own. And the reason for that is the biggest cost of a franchise is the build out. A lot of people don't know that. You know, a franchise is $30 to $60,000 a license, excuse me, on average. But the cost really comes in when they tell you you have to go lease a place, and that lease is usually pretty high because they want you, you know, on a main street or a high walking area. But the biggest cost, initial cost, is usually $300,000 to $500,000 for an average person just to do the build out in that place you lease. So I always think to myself, well, why would I do that? I'd rather own the place, and if I have to do the build out, at least I'm doing it for some place I own. And should the franchise fail, I don't have a lease I have to worry about. So I look at it that way. Only if I'm looking at the franchise would be mine to put in it. But as far as franchising and advising on franchises, no, I don't do that.
So I thought that one of the biggest factors in buying a franchise like a McDonald's is their site selection. You know, that they're going to go out and do all this analysis to find out the best location. So is it that they do all that analysis for you, and then you just try to buy the location?
Not for McDonald's, because those are really unattainable. They pretty much prefer the people that are really franchisees. It's really hard to get into them, and I'm actually not interested in McDonald's. But most, even name brand franchises, what you just said is correct. Excuse me, to a certain degree, because you can always negotiate with them and say, I disagree with this place and I want another place, but you don't want to rock the boat sometimes. So if the place they're looking at is available to purchase, I would do it. If it wasn't, I wouldn't engage in the franchise. So in other words, I never get involved in a franchise unless I can own the property. And the good reason about that, too, is that you know the tenant. So you know their intentions. And again, if the franchise fails, if the concept fails, I'm just going to lease out the building to another franchise and then sell it. And remember this, even if I was to buy it, put a franchise in it, my intent is to sell it in about a year.
Why so quickly? Don't you lose money if you sell it
Well,
that
because
quickly?
then I can show that the tenant, the franchise, has been paying, which is me, been paying on time, and because I like to be in and out. I'm 54 years old, but in that time period, how many recessions have I seen? How many times have I seen the market collapse overnight? I with no notice. And I realized time and time again, to have cash in the bank is always perfect, because then you can go on a shopping spree.
Well,
do you do this on your own, or do you have an entire team that?
No, by myself. By myself.
Really?
Yeah, by myself. No, absolutely. Especially with software and the internet. Today my wife, of course, helps me, does the money end of it. I mean, I couldn't do all, the deposits, the bank accounts, the wire transfers, that stuff. But no, and I typically work with brokers, because as Peter asked me earlier, I mean, I don't want to be a broker. I work with brokers in every city nationwide that I have relationships with. I've made them a ton of money, and they give me off-market deals, preferential treatment, and we trust each other. So we don't always look at every INT, which I do, but we trust each other. So if that is other people helping, I guess the answer would be yes.
Okay.
Because, you can have a broker like today send you a whole list of emails of something from your criteria, whatever you're interested in. But a lot of them don't do it anymore. I mean, it's silly, because you could just go online to a website like LoopNet, CoStar, even Redfin, and you can find your own properties, and you just contact a broker in that area and say, hey, it's me. Here's one that I'm interested in. Do your magic. Tell me what's going on locally. Then I do my due diligence, and we go that way.
Do you offer investments in funds or deals, or?
What, I'm sorry, say that again?
Do you offer investments in funds or deals?
No.
So you don't do anything syndicated?
Anything what? You cut off.
Syndicated.
No.
And it would seem to me, I'd be a little concerned. You're trying to get in and out so quickly in a year or so. Like, for instance, this is a good year example, right? We have interest rates that were 3% 3 months ago. Now they're like 6%, and it might be 9%, whatever. So I would think to get in and out of a real estate during this time period may be more difficult or more challenging than other times. Do you agree?
Well, that's the good thing about never being in over a year. See my point? That's the reason that I don't stay in long enough to get hit doing things like this.
And are you buying these things for cash, or are you taking out loans?
Well, but let me back up. But you do have a point. What does it say? The way the interest rates flew it up. Remember, they told us these rates were going to go like this. So when they started, I think it was February or whatever, right away, you buy because you know they're going to go up. But by the way, there are a lot of properties that regardless of the rates, Peter, they sell because a lot of these people are coming in all cash.
Yeah.
Are your deals all cash typically, or are they loans?
I try, obviously if it's in my budget, but no, because remember I'm flipping them so soon that a lot of times I end up not even paying my first payment. I really don't.
Wow.
It's all about, you see what I will say, and I don't want to insult brokers out there, but I will.
Go ahead, do it. You insult
99%
everybody.
of a property that doesn't sell right away, 99% of the issue is whoever is listing it. And unfortunately, the sellers, I feel bad for them, but I don't because they chose that broker because they maybe got a bargain, got a deal. The brokers really screw it up. And by putting together a package in a PDF that highlights the demographics, the area, the potential businesses, giving them ideas, people want to be led. And if you do that, you can sell it before you even make your first payment. I work a lot with bridge loans. Like, for example, you know what a bridge loan is. So, it's really a line of equity. So I'll dip into that. They know I have the properties to back it up. I dip into that, take the cash, buy it. Before I even have to make my first payment, I'm paying it back. Nobody wants to pay interest. My biggest goal is always never to pay interest. And so far in the last 20 years, I've never paid a penny in interest.
What about when the prices are declining?
Oh, as far as selling them, well, I mean, at that point, that's the beauty. I never had them long enough to worry about it. Declining prices in commercial real estate don't happen overnight. I mean, even look at residential. It's declining, but prices are still up. People are still getting multiple offers. So, no, it's not like they don't go down that fast. And especially what they call the premium type of commercial that I always like to stay in.
And define
Remember, too, the more you pay, the better, the safer, and the more you'll make. People want to go buy in those, certain neighborhoods and because they're getting a bargain and they think they're going to turn around a whole neighborhood. You're not going to turn around a whole neighborhood. If it's a crappy neighborhood, it's going to be a crappy property, and there's a reason why it's for sale.
You mentioned buying in premium areas. How do you know that's premium? What's your definition?
Well, remember I was saying here earlier that I'm not the smartest person in the world, but
you've done okay.
Yeah, remember Starbucks and McDonald's use those as big barometers, and they'll tell you if you're you're in the right neighborhood. I mean, literally.
That's interesting.
Oh, God. In fact, I was telling you about an offer memorandum. It's a package you create in a PDF, highlighting the property, everything around it. The smart brokers, the first thing you see when you open up this offer memorandum on a property is the Starbucks logo, the McDonald's logo, the Taco Bell logo. And you start realizing these people, basically you're telling them, look, if these geniuses that rarely fail are here, then they've done all the work. They've done the traffic counts, the analytics, and another thing, you see billboards, that's a street to be on for obvious reasons. Don't pop those up on any street. So that's what I mean by premium properties.
So what is the best business lesson you've learned in your career?
I mean, that taught me a lesson not to do it again, or
no? What's
to
the
do
biggest,
it again?
If you wanted to.
Well, I was going to ask the same question. Like, what mistakes have you made in your career that actually turned out to be a success?
Not being on Ask Brien soon enough, but go ahead.
It's hard to say. I mean, the mistakes I have made was, I would say, as far as the real estate, as far as business in general, was trusting people that you hire and you bring in underneath your roof, or brokers that you work with and you learn, and you get hit and you take a hit, and that helps you succeed later on because you know not to do it again.
So give us some of those
lessons.
lessons.
Out there, if you open up a business, whatever you do, do not open up a partnership. There's not one that will ever succeed. Do it yourself, or just don't do it at all. Whether it's a family member or a friend, whether you're going to invest in a commercial property, I get hit up all the time. Hey, let's all get on this $20 million building. If we all put $5 million, we can all own it. Don't do that, because I know, and I've done it, you get hit, because when you want to sell it, you got 4 or 5 people that have to chime in, and everybody will have a different opinion. If there's an issue, repairs, 5 people have to decide. If they don't, it becomes a problem. So that's one big thing. Never invest with other people. It hurt me. I've lost money, and I realized not do it again. And 20 years later, I've become a success because I learned from it.
Any other lessons you've learned?
You know what? I've had health issues because I took this home 7 days a week. I'll say put a cutoff. If I would have stopped earlier, it would have been better. But you do need to work 7 days a week, no matter what you do. But when you hit a certain amount, don't get greedy. You don't need more. I had a point where I had 7 exotic cars and 4 properties and beach. In the last 10 years, I got rid of all that. And guess what? I'm starting to sleep again. So what I'm saying is, don't worry too much and don't get too greedy. If you get what you want and you're happy, take it and run.
I love that.
I'm going to go a little bit off topic, but you just made a comment about happy. What makes you happy? That was a very open-ended question.
Family, money, and money. No, I'm just kidding. Family, money, and travel.
Well, you have to pay a lot of money to be on this show, so you don't have any of that.
The check's in the mail. Mandy's taking care of it.
Yeah, it's on its way.
So
if you
go ahead.
describe yourself in one word, what would that be? One word.
Worries too much, driven, and just loves the hell out of this country.
Well, that's a very interesting comment. How do you think
because if it wasn't for the USA, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
So we have about a minute and a half left, and the question I have for you is, with the internet, with everything going on, do you see real estate becoming more of a situation where people are going to go online and take 3D tours and just look at the accounting financials? Or do you think people are going to continue to be looking, okay, I want to buy that building, I need to check it out and see what condition it's like, etc.? What do you think on that?
It depends on the building. If it's an industrial warehouse with Matterport, which I want to disclose, I'm an investor in Matterport, which is that, what it is, that we kind of feel like you're 3D inside of a property. For retail, I always suggest nothing beats going out and looking at it. But I will tell you, and I want this on the record, I do see the internet, and you're going to think I'm crazy. It's going to hit a brick wall soon. People just need to get out again. And look what Elon Musk and other companies are saying, get your butt back to work. And I don't mean just for work. I mean just in general. It's kind of hitting a brick wall. It's not going to disappear, but people need to get out again. And I think retail, because, again, it can be used for professional office and warehousing, it's the best buy if you follow the rules of McDonald's, Starbucks, and billboards. And that's the cheapest, fastest way to know if you're on the right area.
Well, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM.
SCVI is a tuition-free TK through 12 charter school that gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely. We offer a customized learning program built around your child's unique interests and strengths, with the only international baccalaureate program in all of Santa Clarita. Our approach keeps students and families in step no matter where your learning is taking place. Be empowered to make your mark on the world at SCVI. To take a tour or enroll now in our one-of-a-kind program, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Olive Terrace Bar and Grill is the hottest new Mediterranean fusion restaurant in Santa Clarita with unique delicacies like seafood right off the boat, mouth-watering prime steaks, artesian sandwiches, delicious pastas, and tasty kebabs. Unwind on their cozy outdoor patio at their weekend champagne brunch, full menu, and weekly specials at oliveterracebarandgrill.com. Check out their full bar and happy hour daily specials in Valencia on Copper Hill and Newhall Ranch Road by LA Fitness. Olive Terrace Bar and Grill, delicious food seasoned with love.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
Save water and save money. SCV Water wants to help you find your fit and take advantage of conservation rebate programs that will help you save. Water your landscape more efficiently. Replace your lawn with water-wise plants. Conduct free in-home water surveys. Cover your swimming pool and more. Find the programs that fit your needs and start saving today. Visit conserve.yourscvwater.com to learn more.
That's conserve.yourscvwater.com.
Okay, Shelby, care to share with the class what you did this weekend?
My weekend started in the African desert, where I was surrounded by wild animals, like fennec foxes. After that, I climbed towering trees in the rainforest and played next to an animal called a prehensile-tailed porcupine.
Okay, who's next? Brien?
I went to the mall. Visit the new Wildlife Explorers Base Camp at the San Diego Zoo and feel what it's like to be wild.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years' experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
Hey, Ned, what's with the cape and tights again? Didn't the boss tell you about that?
No, this time I'm really a Pacific Air hero. I'm flying around keeping our customers cool with our WOW AC tune-up. It's Super Ned to the rescue!
Get in the truck, Ned.
Well, we're not letting Ned run around in tights.
But we are saving people every day.
Mark Schneider and daughter Kaylee for Pacific Air.
We're saving people from a hot, miserable home caused by an aging or broken AC system.
When you call Pacific Air, we know your time is precious. So we promise on-time service to save you time.
And right now, with every WOW AC tune-up, we will disinfect and sanitize the inside of your heating and air system free. We think you'll say,
when you want the best, call Pacific Air.
Schedule your WOW AC tune-up now, just $77, and we'll sanitize your heating and air system free. No surprises, just exceptional service, because nobody cares like Pacific Air. Details at pacair.com.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Welcome back. You're listening to Ask Brien Radio Show on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. We've got about 4 minutes left before we're going to off for the week. I just want to let everybody know, Tracy, our standard host, was unavailable today. She's got some stuff going on, but we're very, very lucky to have Mandy Brewer on. She's our co-host for the day. Can we get a round of applause? No? Okay, we'll do it ourselves.
Applause.
Thanks, Peter.
No problema. We take care of each other. So, and the other thing I wanted to say is, if anybody ever wants to listen to the Ask Brien podcast, the Ask Brien podcast is on Spotify, it's on Apple iTunes, it's on Amazon, all the podcasts you can listen to anytime you want. It's a little shorter version because it doesn't have commercials, but anyway, it's available. You can look it up anytime you want. So with about 2.5 minutes left, George, some of the people want to know, give us 3 criteria you would look at. You said traffic, okay, and you said, you want to follow the McDonald's and companies, but give us 3 things you would look for to decide whether or not that commercial property is the right property for you.
Resale, if I can resell it within a very short time period, meaning if I can get tenants in it or it has good tenants that I can turn the building around. Second thing would the physical aspects of the property, land. If it has enough land, if it doesn't have a small lot, if it has a small lot, I don't buy it. It's got to have room for growth or for enough off-street parking, meaning you can get more tenants if their customers can park off-street. So that's another thing I look for in a commercial property. Last but not least is obviously the price. It's got to be the right price. I've got to be able to make at least a 20% markup after paying commissions and escrow on the property. If I can't do that, I don't look at the property.
Do you find that most brokers are willing to lower their fees? I mean, I know the standard in residential is about 3%. Do you find that you can usually find a broker in commercial that'll go for less than 3%? And is that
well? The standard in residential is 2.5%, by the way. Sorry about that, but I know and I don't mean to correct you, but it's 2.5%. 3 is like way off there, and a lot of them go down to 2. As far as commercial, the answer to your question is absolutely. Oh yeah. I've seen some do it, believe it or not, at no charge if you commit to having them represent you on another purchase, or if they get a piece, of the sale, or the piece of there's, it's so saturated out there nowadays with brokers that they will work with you, and the ones that don't, there's too many out there to give them the full price, unfortunately. But I will say the good brokers deserve what they get.
And what is a good broker? What does a good broker do for you? What are the things that
a broker that represents me will watch my back. If I make a mistake, they'll say, "Hey, George, wait a minute. We got to make sure this has no assessments. We've got to double check this, that." A good broker that's the listing agent, that's the seller's broker, has got to be somebody that's responsive, that returns your calls and emails in a timely manner, that is willing to put things in writing and not just tell you things and not put it in writing. Because gotta always have it in writing, as my good friend Peter Bronstein tells me, and you just got to get it in writing. So a bad broker refuses to answer questions in writing, refuses to doesn't return your calls, emails, and just makes showings harder, which is not always available to show. That's a bad broker. But I will say, out there today, there's many good brokers, but unfortunately many more bad ones than there are good ones.
And do you currently use a broker consistently, or do you switch around?
Oh, no, it depends on the city, because some can't represent like a lawyer. Some are only licensed in certain states. So if one is licensed in California, we use them per area. I've got one in San Diego, Long Beach, Orange County, the Bay Area, because they usually like to stay within their loop.
And they're only registered per state, correct, usually?
A lot of them, some of them have multi-states like attorneys do. Some of them are, but most of them are usually 1, maybe 2. The smart ones are the ones that get registered from coast to coast for obvious reasons, for people that, move coast to coast. But again, unfortunately, there are less smart ones out there, but there are good ones. I mean, you just, like I said, you got to make sure they respond to you. You feel like they're watching your back, and you always you have to give somebody a chance.
Well,
but not a second one, because money's too important to give 2 chances on.
Thank you very much. That's a great lesson to learn. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, George. We'll be back next week. You're listening to the Ask Brien Radio Show, KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM.